Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Before we dive into today's story about respect and humility, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss our weekly uploads. Today we're sharing what happened when Robert Downey Jr. walked into an exclusive restaurant and no one recognized him. Let's get into it. The story is about Robert Downey Jr. visiting an exclusive restaurant called Nusr. When he walks in wearing surprisingly casual clothes, just a worn vintage band t-shirt, faded jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low, the staff and other diners immediately judge him based on his appearance. His usual charisma and star power are hidden beneath this unassuming outfit, and nobody recognizes him as the famous actor who brought Iron Man to life. A pretentious waiter named Damien treats Robert with thinly veiled contempt, seating him in the worst spot in the restaurant, a cramped table near the noisy bar area rather than the luxurious main dining section. Damien presents him with a limited menu, different from what other guests receive. When Robert confidently asked for the restaurant's signature dish, an extravagant tomahawk gold steak priced at $1,500, Damien condescendingly informs him it's not available tonight, despite clearly serving it to other tables filled with influencers and business executives in designer suits. Throughout the evening, Damien and other guests exchange smirks and whispers at Robert's expense. A couple at a nearby table jokes about whether he's an Uber driver who wandered into the wrong building. Another group takes discreet photos, not out of admiration but to mock the seemingly out-of-place guest. Robert notices it all but maintains his composure, watching the room with intelligent eyes that miss nothing, occasionally glancing toward the kitchen where the famous chef Salt Bae is expected to make an appearance. The situation escalates when Damien, emboldened by the snickers of wealthier patrons, brings Robert some cold, unbuttered bread, with an exaggerated flourish mocking Salt Bae's famous salt sprinkling technique. Damien theatrically sprinkles salt not just on the bread, but also deliberately onto Robert's sleeve. Laughter ripples through nearby tables as Damien plays to his audience. Robert simply brushes the salt away, his calm demeanor making the petty humiliation look even smaller by comparison. Gradually, whispers begin to circulate through the restaurant. A sharp-eyed diner recognizes the familiar face beneath the cap. "Isn't that Robert Downey Jr.?" someone murmurs. "The Tony Stark guy?" The energy in the room begins to shift as recognition dawns, but Damien remains oblivious to the changing tide, still basking in what he perceives as his clever humiliation of an unworthy guest. Just as the tension reaches its peak, the kitchen doors swing open with dramatic timing. The famous chef Salt Bae emerges in his signature outfit, pristine white chef's coat, dark sunglasses, and black gloves. The restaurant falls silent. Phones rise to capture his entrance, but Salt Bae doesn't acknowledge his usual admirers. Instead, he walks directly to Robert's table, removes his sunglasses, and breaks into a genuine smile. "My brother," Salt Bae says warmly, embracing Robert like an old friend. "You didn't tell me you were coming to my restaurant tonight." Robert stands to return the embrace. "I didn't plan on staying long," he replies with his characteristic wit, "but someone decided to make the evening more interesting." Salt Bae's expression darkens as he turns to Damien, who now stands frozen, the color draining from his face as realization dawns. With a snap of his fingers, Salt Bae orders security footage from the kitchen to be displayed on the restaurant's screens. The entire dining room watches as Damien's mockery and salt-sprinkling humiliation plays out for all to see. "You disrespected one of the most respected men in Hollywood in my restaurant," Salt Bae states coldly to Damien before firing him on the spot. Security personnel appear to escort the stammering waiter out through the golden doors. Salt Bae personally serves Robert the gold-plated tomahawk steak that had supposedly been unavailable. With masterful precision, he slices the perfectly cooked meat, serving it with dignity rather than showy performance. "For those who don't need to prove anything to be worthy of respect," Salt Bae says quietly as he plates the first slice. When Robert finally stands to leave, he doesn't make a scene or demand attention. He simply walks through the restaurant with quiet dignity, acknowledged by eyes that now see him clearly. As he steps through the same doors he entered hours earlier, he leaves behind a room full of people who have learned an important lesson about judging others by appearance. In a world obsessed with status symbols and designer labels, Robert Downey Jr. didn't need to announce who he was or demand special treatment. His character spoke louder than any expensive clothes or reservations ever could, reminding everyone that true worth isn't measured by outward appearances, and respect shouldn't be reserved only for those who look the part. And that's the power of staying humble, even when you're one of the biggest stars in the world. If you enjoyed this story about looking beyond appearances, smash that like button and share it with a friend who needs this reminder. Where in the world are you watching from? Let us know in the comments below. And if you've ever been underestimated or judged unfairly, share your experience. Sometimes the quietest among us teach the loudest lessons. Remember to subscribe for more inspiring stories every week. Until next time, retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.